My friends, tonight we travel, as I said, 1755 in Montreal, still Ville Marie at this point, to see all these shenanigans that we've been seeing on our regular vampire games. Again, without further ado, with everyone ready, Montreal, or Ville Marie as it is called in the year 1755, is a city of vigor and ambition. A bustling heart of New France pressed between the untamed wilderness and the slow steel-gray sweep of the St. Lawrence River. Built on the island where the river narrows, Montreal rises in tiers of steep wooden roofs and stone-built homes, their chimneys smoking even in the early hours. Cobblestone streets wind between sturdy warehouses, Catholic chapels, and garrison forts, all crowded behind thick palisades of sharpened logs. By day, the town is alive with the clamor of trade. Fur traders, coureurs des bois, and voyageurs haul bundles of pelts from canoes tied along the riverbanks. The sharp scent of tanned hides and burning pitch mingles with the sweetness of baking bread and pipe smoke. Blacksmiths hammer at their forges, sparks flying in the brisk morning air, while women in linen skirts carry water, gossip, and goods from the market square. Children run laughing between carts, chased by dogs and shouted at by merchants in French and Spanish and occasionally English. Ships from France offload barrels of wine and musket shots. Soldiers drill in Place d'Armes while farmers from the seigneurie trade grain for tools and salt. Ville Marie is no longer a frontier village. It is the nerve center of the fur trade, a city teeming with ambition, sweat, and the hard rhythm of survival. But when the sun dips low behind the maple-covered hills and the river turns black with shadows, the mood of the city changes. Lanterns are lit early and shutters are drawn tight. The laughter dies down and the streets grow empty far too quickly for a town so full. Because the people of Montreal are afraid of what walks in the night. They call it La Bête, the beast. No one knows what it truly is. Some claim it is a cursed man. Others speak of a great black wolf with human eyes. But every month, when the full moon climbs high over the rooftops, someone vanishes. A trapper found torn open in the snow, a seamstress gone from her bed, her blood trailing out the door. The guards have found tracks, some too large for a wolf, others unlike anything that should walk this earth. The church bells ring louder now. The priests speak of sin, the people only in hushed tones. And in the depth of night, when all is still and the cold presses against the walls, a howl echoes across the river. Long, low, and impossibly close. This is Ville Marie in 1755, and this is where you, Ines, arrive on a cool October evening, hell-bent on finding your quarry, the Lasombra knight Santiago, who betrayed you centuries ago in ancient Constantinople, and has been leading you on a dark chase through Europe and finally to the shores of Nouvelle France, or the New World, tonight. As you watch, the men of the port and ship bring the vessel in and tie it off, and see the lights of this frontier town glinting in the night, you might be thinking about how far you've come from the splendors of ancient Constantinople. What would we see as you make ready to disembark?
Inez Alameda has changed greatly from the last time she was seen in Constantinople. The noble woman still has that same regal bearing, but she is dressed in a way that would almost befit a corsair. Dark cloth, oilskin, boots that have been salt-worn and battered with her travels. But she still holds the crucifix that remains from her human life. That last little bit that still helps her cling to what remains of her humanity.
Thank you, Bradley. little bit, so you have night moves. Leave it. From Bradley. As you alight on the pier, you take a look around. Early in the evening still. Stevedores move around you, unloading the cargo, men yelling at each other. The sights and smells and sounds of a fairly large city, yet still only a small camp compared to some of the incredible cities you visited in the old world. But still, there's a vibrant energy here. There is a sense of danger, discovery. It is the new world, a place of new chances, of exploration, of new challenges, and you can feel that energy permeate the entire city. And as you look ahead, you notice what appears to be a young man going about lighting lamps along the street. Your fine senses detect immediately that this young man is like you, Kindred. If anyone can tell you or give you the lay of the land, it might be this one who seems occupied with his lamp lighting, but certainly would make time for you. What do you do?
Well, I'm here on a mission, so I'll approach. And out of habit, I think I stick to the shadows, phasing in and out of the pockets of darkness left behind, until I stand before this young man. Cousin?
Oh mon Dieu. Ouf. Mais ça va pas, non? Faut pas se pointer comme ça derrière les gens. He looks at your face and then realizes that maybe the French didn't land. Says, I'm sorry, I was just simply saying that it's a little bit rude to come up like that behind someone who's just focused on his work.
Yes, terribly sorry, but I'm afraid I'm in a bit of a hurry. And I'll smile and reveal the points of my fangs.
Well, this is unfortunately not the kind of place to be in a hurry. Things here tend to move a little bit slow. You have to adapt to the rhythm of this place, you know. It has a very particular sense of timing, of what's the word in English? Expediency. This is not a place where things happen quickly. But if I can help you at all, and he lights another lamp and he brings down his little thing and he blows it out, we'll certainly endeavor to do so. My name is Chauvet, and he takes off his tricorn hat and bows low to you, madame, and he puts it back.
Chauvet? You may call me Inez.
Oh, c'est un très beau nom. It's a beautiful name.
Merci.
Where do you arrive from? I have a lot of difficulty placing your accent. It is not English, it is not French, it is somewhat different.
I believe they call it the old world now.
Yes. The old world soon fading into the sunset of history. No, I don't think so. I think this place is very exciting and new, but I think it's going to be very difficult to forget about the homeland. And as he says this, you can sense a kind of deep sadness in him and a bit of longing, and you can tell that he does miss his home and that he probably comes from France due to his accent. What brings you to Ville-Marie? If you don't mind, can we walk while we talk so I can continue doing my job?
Bien sûr.
Keeps going and lighting lamps as you go along. What brings you to Montreal? To Ville-Marie?
I'm in search of someone. Someone I've been looking for a very long time.
That's going to be difficult to find him, and this is a very good place to get lost.
And he's very good at slipping his track at this point. I don't suppose you could tell me, is there a presence here in the city Those like us, we tend to gather. Depends on who's in charge, I suppose.
Oh yeah, what the old ways of the homeland have not gone here yet. There is no prince, no camarilla. Everyone is pretty much left to their own device to do as they can. There's not many of us here. I think there are maybe 7 of us in the entire city right now. So there's not a lot of us. There's a lot of space. It's in fact very rare to encounter one another just like this. I think that mostly if you are careful, the people are very superstitious, and they will, at anything that happens, will pull out the old folklore stories and start scaring each other to death. So you just have to be a little, how do we say, careful with your activities. But other than that, you're pretty much left to your own devices.
Well, don't worry. I can be discreet when it calls for it. But you say there is no prince?
No, there is no prince in this city. There is only Marie. There's only Marie.
Marie?
Yes, Marie is very important to the city. She takes care of the people a lot. She is of the Gangrel bloodline, and has been here for a very long time. And some people even say that this place is named after her, in her honor, Ville Marie. There are different stories about that, so I don't know how much that is true, but certainly Marie has done a lot for this city, and if there's anyone who I would say might be able to help you out in your search for this elusive person, it might be her.
Prince in all but name, then.
Well, she's a little, what's the word, uncouth. She likes to run around in the forest and do stuff like that. I don't think that she would style herself very much as a prince or anything of the sort. But she takes care of the city, so maybe, perhaps, if someday the Camarilla makes its way here, they will look to her for that leadership. But for now, she is just Marie.
No, I've never met a Gangrel who was willing to stay in one place for more than a century at most.
No, they usually like to run around. You get yourself down on 4 legs and zoom in all over the place.
And this Marie, where would I find her if I wanted to make an introduction?
Sometimes she can be difficult to find because she's off and off on the mountain or in the forest up north, but if there's any place I think perhaps you might run into her, it would be at La Petite Taverne. It's just up there. You see the gates up there? Those are Saint Mary's Gate. It's fitting, because her name is Mary and it's Saint. Okay, anyways. The gate through there, if you go down that street and then turn down the second street that you see to the right, be careful. There's usually a lot of horse manure down in that corner, but if you navigate through that, you will hear the dulcet sounds of music being played, usually accordion and violin, and that is La Petite Taverne, and that is where usually Marie will check in to see if anyone needs her help.
Well, and I suppose I had better make my way there. I thank you for your time, cousin.
Oh, before you go, I should tell you something else. There is a bit of a problématique, a little bit of a problem in the city these days. There's some kind of, well, we don't know exactly what it is. The people call it la bête, beast. Something has been killing people in the night, usually around or near the full moon. Some people say it is a demon, other people say that it is part of a curse, other people say that it is some kind of giant man with a wolf head. No one knows, no one has really seen it, but it is somewhere in the shadows of the city, so best stay away from the shadows. They can be very dangerous.
Funny you should say. And she'll step into one of those shadows and vanish.
Ah ben, sacre bleu. What will they think of next? And then continues lighting his way along as you step through the shadows and exit somewhere near St. Mary's Gate and continue up on your way. Feeling the air, trying to see if you can pick up a sense, a trace of your good friend, Santiago. I will ask you here as you set to head towards La Petite Taverne, do me a little check here. Go ahead and give me an insight roll. So the way it works with this system is you're going to roll 1d10. Well, actually, first, my favorite part of the night. Let's see if you let's see you make a rouse check to see how it was when you roused tonight. So,
Beans.
Yeah, just roll a d10 and 6+ will.
That is a rousing success.
Yeah, excellent. So you're at 1 hunger. So you will roll 1d10 and you will roll 2 d10s, in fact, one which is the hunger die and one which is the regular die. The hunger dice is only important if you roll a 1 or a 10 on it. Otherwise, you can ignore it. You're going to roll 1d10. You're going to add your social to it. And if you have the skill insight, you can add +1 also to it.
Well, that is a 9 on the die.
9 on the die. Your social is 7, so that will give you a total of 16, which is very good.
Yes.
You sniff the air. As you step through the shadows, you reach out and kind of try to feel through your connection with the abyss if there is any lingering trace of Santiago around. You've been chasing him for so long now. You have a very good nose for him, and without a doubt, Santiago has been here. Difficult to tell if he's still here or how long ago it was, but you can absolutely feel his presence, almost mocking, in the shadows, the abyss.
Come out, wherever you are, bastard.
And with that, you step out of the shadows onto the cobblestone streets. You avoid horsemen here very deftly. And you hear, coming from somewhere down the street, very muted sounds of violin, and you head in that direction. Meanwhile, Marie, you move silently through the trees, your boots crunching the thin crust of early frost that clings to the undergrowth like white ash. The moon hangs low and swollen above the treetops, full, heavy, and watching, casting its pale light across the wooded slope of Mount Royal. The branches are bare this time of year, clawing upwards like the fingers of the dead, and every breath you take leaves a ghost behind. The air is sharp, metallic, not just with cold, but with something older. Something wrong. You've hunted these woods before, tracked elk through its underbrush, spotted fox dens in the hollowed roots of sugar maples. You know the rhythm of the forest, the normal sounds, the heartbeat beneath the wind, but tonight that rhythm is broken. Too quiet. No owls, no squirrels, not even the rustle of rabbits fleeing at your scent. It's as if the whole forest is holding its breath. There are tracks ahead, faint, half melted into the frost, but they don't make sense. Something heavy, 4-footed, then 2-footed, and something in between. You crouch to study them, and the hair along your arms rises. A wolf, perhaps, but no wolf walks like that. Behind you, the wind shifts, just enough to make the trees creak, just enough to make you feel watched. You rise slowly, listening, eyes scanning. You're not the only hunter in these woods. There's something here. Something old, clever, and hungry. And the deeper into the woods you go, the more certain you become that this night isn't just chance. There's a shape to it, a design, a terrible rhythm in the way the forest darkens around you, how the moon seems to guide your steps towards some place you haven't yet seen. But that it has. And then you smell him, for you see him. His animal musk, the scent of dried blood. You relax. It's Arnaud, another Gangrel, and the one you sent to find the missing family. He steps out of the forest. Well, you smelt me coming, did you?
Of course I did.
I can never creep up on you. That nose of yours.
You shouldn't have to.
I know, but it's for practice, you know.
Yes, learn how to search your prey better.
Well, we can't all be as good as you, Marie. That is why you are Marie and the rest of us are just following around.
No. We must all be good at this.
On to darker things, then. I went to take a look near the cemetery like you asked. My family's dead, all of them.
Did you see anything specific as to the dead bodies?
I didn't, but I came across a couple of voyageurs, a couple hunters who heard and saw something. They talked about seeing a gigantic dog-like creature, they said, that rose on hind legs. One of them said it was a rougarou, and the other one agreed. Now, you know as much as I do that those old folk tales of men who shift into wolves are a dime a dozen, but if we do indeed have a rougarou on our hands, it spells a lot of trouble.
See?
What's the feeling like in town? Are people getting nervous? We are getting close to the full moon again.
They are scared, of course. They are blaming others for such a travesty.
Yeah, they're blaming who now? The governor?
What's her name? Monique? Monique.
Oh, not the wise woman.
See, yes.
We're still talking about that.
Of course, what else are they going to blame it on? They don't understand that there is an entire other world around them.
Well, last time I checked, Madame Monique didn't look like a giant black dog that walked around on hind legs, so...
Of course, although you never know.
I did check on something else, too, on the western ridge. That man you spoke to, Santiago, he was right. There's a hole there in the ground, like a fissure, but it's strange. It's kind of like... It looks like a boil, like this pustulant skin of just, I don't know, it's just this strange stretched skin over what appears to be bread, fleshy stuff underneath, and it's about a meter long. It's on the western slope. The trees around, the plants, they're all rotted. The animals just avoid the place. I don't know what it is, but it's probably not good.
Do you know where Ronaldo is at?
I imagine he's either in his study, reading up some old dusty tomes, or out getting drunk somewhere.
I need him immediately. Have him meet me at the tavern.
All right, I'll try to find them. I will tell the villagers where to find the family, but I'll wait until the morning so that they don't all come scrambling up here tonight. I moved the bodies and gave them as much respect as I could.
Damien, I will see you there.
Be safe.
Just for a note, Marie has her familiar with her Aoun, which is a large, like, wolf dog, like, gray one, and so if at all possible, she's just gonna walk with her dog.
He's been moving around you, sniffing at the air, pawing at the ground, and he always has a bit of a low growl in the back of his throat. And you know that he's not sensing something that's immediate danger, it's like something that's coming to you right away. He's just been very on edge for the past couple of nights since you started getting close to the full moon, and you can tell that he doesn't like being out here and that he can sense that there's something wrong with the place.
So Marie stands there for a second as her friend Arnold leaves, and she's about 5'6", dark hair, lots of braids in her hair, lots of little like dilly bobs in it, with her tricorn hat. But what you do notice in the dark is that her eyes flash red, because she has Eyes of the Beast up, kind of just making sure that she's scanning the area, just making sure that there's nothing particular in the dark around her.
Go ahead, and you're going to make me a roll. First, you're going to make your rouse check for the night. Let's see how that goes.
Success!
Excellent. And then you're going to roll then 2 d10s, one for your hunger die and one just a regular d10. You're going to be rolling on your insight. So you're going to be rolling your... sorry, not your insight. You're going to be rolling on your occult, which you don't have. So just roll and add your mental to your roll.
One success.
You once again feel like there is something on the wind. There is that same sense that you've been getting for the past few months every time you've been on the hunt for this thing. But there's something else tonight. There's like another edge to it. There's like this strange feeling of something else that's kind of joining it. And you're getting this sense that there are things moving and kind of coming together, like beyond the scope of what your normal senses might be able to pick up. You feel like tonight, maybe the next night or the night after that, something major is about to happen that's going to affect a lot of things and change the world around you. As you start walking back towards the city, what's going through your mind? What is Marie thinking about? What is her state of mind as you're walking and your companion walks along with you again, always kind of growling, and the two of you kind of lope off at a run to head back towards the city? What are you thinking about? What's going through your mind?
So Marie is playing back everything that was told to her, including some of the additional deaths that she had been hearing about in the past few weeks. So she's kind of playing back everything in the graveyard and seeing the horrors of the folk of the town and trying to piece together what she thinks might it be. She has a thought about her sire for a second, but that kind of just like blips away as she starts speeding off with her familiar.
You head back into town, these thoughts sort of crowding into your head, your senses on alert, looking for any sort of warning that maybe whatever's about to happen is about to happen, but things kind of stay as they are. And as you return to the fort and see the lights of the city and start hearing and seeing the people. One, you're reminded of why you do what you do. These are people who are living a hard life, just kind of trying to earn a new life out here in this world, and it's very difficult out here in the frontier. But also, you can see as you walk back into town and tread along the cobbled streets, how people look at you and how they look up to you and how they look to you with a sense of hope. Just seeing you out here tonight patrolling gives them a sense of security, and you know that that's something that's very difficult to get on the frontier like this. As you approach the little tavern, we go inside where, Ines, you have finally arrived. La Petite Taverne sits nestled in a crooked row of stone and timber buildings along the damp, lantern-lit port of Ville-Marie. The scent of salt, river mud, and roasting meat clings to the narrow alleys like a second skin. The tavern is small, no more than 2 rooms, really. Its wooden sign gently swaying in the evening wind, carved with a crude image of a wine bottle and a pipe. Smoke curls lazily from its crooked chimney, and behind the fogged windows, a soft orange glow flickers like a heartbeat trying to steady itself. Inside, the place is quieter than you would imagine it usually is. The heavy wooden door creaks as it opens for you, but almost no heads turn to look at you. Most of the people here sit hunched over their drinks, shoulders drawn tight, eyes flicking now and then towards the shuttered windows. The tavern, which you imagine probably gets very lively at times, bursting with drunken laughter and with the brassy hums of violins, now carries only the low murmur of conversation and the occasional clink of pewter mugs on scarred tabletops. The air inside is warm, steeped in the scent of old wood, spilled wine, old cheese. Candles burn low in their holders, dripping wax onto saucers, their flames flickering uncertainly each time the door opens to the wind outside. The clientele tonight, you can see, is mostly men, sailors, dog hands, carters, fishmongers, many of them from French or Latin stock with thick accents and work-worn hands. A few women sit among them, sharp-eyed and silent, hands wrapped tightly around their mugs. There's a tension here, like a taut rope waiting to snap. Conversations come in hushed tones, and no one dares to speak too long of the killings, though you hear murmurs of them. But it hangs in a room like smoke. You hear whispers, the beast, the thing that prowls the streets after dark. No one seems to know what it is, or I've seen it clearly, but everyone knows someone who's heard it or seen the aftermath. The tavern keeper moves behind the bar with little cheer, his red apron filthy and grease-stained. His smile as you approach is polite, distant, and he looks up and says, "Well, not every day that we see new faces around here. Very welcome, please. Pull up a seat. What can I get you?"
Whatever you have on the house.
Well, this is not a fancy place, you realize. We have watered-down ale, watered-down wine, and a little bit of gin. I would recommend the wine, personally.
And I will do as the tender suggests.
Very well. Move, Bijou, move. And he sort of lightly kicks an old dog that's lying underneath the counter, its ears flat, and it growls softly at shadows a little bit and then looks at you and emits a very low growl, and then slowly backs away and moves closer to the fire and the light and lays down, but it keeps a little eye on you. The barkeep brings you a pewter glass filled with wine. First one's on the house. Hope it brings a little bit of warmth to your bones there.
Yes, and it's not just the weather outside that seems chilly.
Well, I don't know where you came from, but you might consider going back. This is not the best of times to be visiting Ville-Marie.
So I've heard. The
I
beast,
assume
they
you
call
would.
it?
Sorry?
The beast, they call it?
La Bête. Yes.
I bet.
There are stories in the old world of strange men with strange powers that can transform into other things. Unnatural, all of that, of course. And, well, it's unclear exactly if that's what we have here, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I think it's more likely that it's the curse.
Oh, the city is cursed, is it?
Well, not the city so much as some of its people, and he casts a look over some of the people in the bar, and you can tell that he's got a little bit of resentment. Some people just don't know when it's time to stand up for other people, I guess. That leads to bad things. But you should be safe enough around here for tonight. Stick to the light. You'll be fine. Will you be needing a place to stay, or?
Potentially. I'll see where the night takes me.
Well, if you need a place, I assume you're not the kind to want to sleep in a barn, but my sister-in-law, Antoinette, rents a room, and I believe it's free right now. It'll at least be clean and dry, so if you need it, let me know and I'll send a runner out to talk to her and set it up for you.
Thank you, sir.
My name's Antoinette, by the way.
Antoine, you can call me Ynes.
Pleasure to meet you. He tops off your wine and moves on down the bar to where someone else is clamoring for a drink. You're sitting there, taking all this in. Like I said, people tend to kind of not pay too much attention to you. Is there anything you want to do as you wait, or?
I want to listen. I want to hear what people are saying exactly, if I can.
What you pick up is that there have been a number of murders over the past few months, usually around the time of the full moon. People are very unsure who's doing it, but one thing is certain, it's mostly been the people of the poorer districts that have been targeted. 4 deaths so far. In the grand scheme of things, in this day and age, in a frontier town, nothing to write home about, but some people talk about how the victims have been gutted from stem to stern by something very big. Others talk about bite marks, bodies half-eaten, chewed up, things of that nature. You figure that some of it's exaggeration, some of it's hearsay. You do hear of this curse. Supposedly a few months back, before all this started, there was someone, a wise woman of some sort, who got hauled away by the French soldiers. And the people didn't do anything to stop them, and that some say that maybe she cursed them. But for every person in this room, there's a different explanation. Some people say that it's a priest who has fallen off and gotten in league with the devil. Others, one man swears that it's his brother-in-law who's always been a bit of a bastard and so has to be the one who's doing this. Others still say that some of the more reprehensible criminals that are being held in the city jail have escaped. One thing's for sure, people are afraid. And they're mostly afraid because they don't know what it is, because these are hardy folk. They're living in the frontier. They're used to dealing with bears and mosquitoes and Canadian winter. So they're pretty tough, but not knowing and feeling targeted because it's very much their community that's being targeted. And I will say that you get a sense that there is, whatever this thing is, that this idea of it targeting a specific group probably has something to do with it. Like that is probably meaningful. There's a volition there. There is a malignant volition there. That it's not random. as you're thinking about all this and listening, the door opens. And as soon as the person walks in, a woman with a tricorn hat looking a little bit rougher, like a little bit of rough road, someone who is used to being out in the wilderness a lot, trailed by a dark gray wolfhound. Not a wolfhound, sorry, a wolf dog. Well, wolfhound would be that, I guess. You immediately sense a change. Immediately people feel better, feel more confident. You see some smiles, you see some happier faces, and people look up to this woman who's just come in. And you can tell right away she's kindred. And the same with you, Marie, as you step in and take in the room, it's like all the shadows of the place have sort of coalesced around this one area near the bar, and you see this woman standing there, and it's very clear to you also that she's kindred, and the two of you are staring at each other from across the bar, recognizing in each other the apex predators that you are, the monstrosities that you are. What do you do?
Marie focuses on Inez for a moment and tips her hat. Looks to the bartender. ¿Cómo estás? And Marie will go pick out her favorite table, which is by a window with the kind of the moonlight kind of tracing in just a little bit.
I will wait for Marie to settle. To the bartender, I'll ask, does the lady of the house have a particular drink?
What does Marie usually drink?
Oh, great question. I think she leans towards the ale, but honestly, if people actually took enough tabs on her, like, the drink never moves.
They'll say...
Funny that.
She's known for being particularly fond of the blood of her enemies. She likes a glass of ale.
If I could have one of those as well, senor.
Absolutely, and you see him reach for a special bottle underneath the counter, not the usual swill that he's passing on to everybody else. And he uncorks it like this, and he pours a healthy dose, and he pops the cork back in, and slides it over to you, tops off your wine.
Put down a few pieces of gold for him.
So gold would be a lot. Do you intend to, like, show off with the gold? Like, this would be like a couple of copper coins normally. So I'm just asking you to know if your character is attempting to kind of be overly generous, or...
A little bit. You always want to have the goodwill of the bartender.
He looks at Dice like, are you certain? That's, well, nearly a month's wages.
I never do anything by halves, senor.
Well, just do me a favor and keep drinking here. And he slides it over. If you need that room, consider it paid for.
I will take the ale, take my wine, and approach. I think the intention is to treat Marie like one would a prince. She may not have the title, but this is still her city.
And one last point of order before the two of you encounter each other. Marie, how would your companion react to strange kindred? I assume that by now it's used to not reacting to kindred too much.
Mm-hmm. How
would it react to one as strange and, you know, different and new as yes? Would it do anything specific?
Definitely fur on edge with a growl, because I is used to scent, and this is a new scent. So even though kindred have a certain particular way of smelling, this is completely different. So Aoun is definitely on edge.
Her dog looks at you, and you can tell that it's well trained, it's well restrained, because even though it's staring at you, and you can feel that kind of low rumbling growl in the back, and you can see some of the fur and hairs raising on around its neck, It doesn't move, but it seems ready. And that's strange because usually animals react with fear to you. And this one is afraid, but is ready to defend its mistress.
You have him well trained.
We are a family, so it's not a matter of training, but rather of respect.
And Inez will offer up the mug of ale.
Marie hesitates for a second because this is a stranger with a drink, doesn't know what that could be, so she doesn't exactly reach for it, but Marie doesn't seem alarmed yet. So, and who are you? What is your name? Why did you come here?
I am called Inez Alameda. I've made my way here from the old world.
It is a long way.
Long way, a long journey. Fruitful, I wouldn't say, but there's promise.
Why is that? Why was it not too fruitful for you?
I have been searching for someone for a very long time. Feels like centuries.
Why bother continue with the search?
Because the bastard betrayed me. And I don't take kindly to that sort of thing.
I see. Have a seat. I want to hear about this.
Inez will take her seat, and in the same way that I imagine Marie has had to do, she touches her own mug to her lips, but never actually drinks. He's like me, this one. Shadows seem to hold on to him.
There are a lot of shadows here.
So I hear. And other things that creep through the dark.
What other things have you heard?
There's a rumor of a beast.
Go on.
I am only reporting what I hear from the bartender from the men at the docks, madame.
So you are repeating rumors, information that you don't completely have all the facts for.
There are other things that I've encountered in my time. Other creatures. Like us, but not.
What do you mean? Like us?
Stronger, faster than the average. And Inez kind of glances to the tavern at large. Person. But the one I hunt, as I said, similar to me, man of shadow and deception. I don't know if he still goes by this name, but when I knew him, he was called Santiago.
Interesting. I might be able to help you in some sort of way. However, I need to know a little bit more about these things that you say are like us. How much information do you know about them?
It depends. From what I hear, it sounds as if these attacks happen once a month, thereabouts, around the same time. Is that correct?
Full moon? Yes. Very much so. Every time there's a full moon, there's about 1 or 2 passings of our people.
What I wonder is why just the poorer families.
I wish I knew. My only assumption is that it is easier pickings. But I am not a fan of that.
And the Santiago. When I tell you it has been centuries, Madame, I do not lie. When I first encountered him, it was in the city that was still known as Constantinople. He led me on a merry chase. And put someone that, well, I don't know if you could call it care, exactly. After a certain point, I don't think we have that capability anymore, but someone I had grown fond of gave herself up because of his actions.
That is terrible. I can see why you follow him to the ends of the world.
At this point, I don't know what else I would have to do with my eternal life.
Well, there are other things other than revenge. There is protection. There's taking care of the people you love.
Madame, the people that I love at this point are long dead.
Then we need to find you new ones. Something to live for. You cannot have an entire eternity of life chasing this singular thing, this entity, this person, without having something to come home to. No?
It's strange. There's a point in time where I think I would have wanted to go back to the city I knew. But now I'm not so sure.
No, you seem so sad. Lost. You must make a new home.
Perhaps. But there's something freeing at the same time, being so rootless. I have traveled across kingdoms, nations, seen cities built from the foundation up. And there is something truly marvelous in that.
I can understand. I have seen also the horrors of that rebuilding of cities. But we won't go into that now, because this is about living in the moment and understanding that there is more to it than just the negative side of life. But speaking of negative, I need to figure out these problems to save my city.
I may be able to offer help.
After Ines says that, you can see Marie kind of looking around for someone.
And as you do that, you notice, looking, as usual, somewhat lost. Just not used to being out into public so much. The man you're looking for, and Inez, when you realize who Marie is looking at, you realize that it's a human, a man, wearing a very simple tunic with a hood over it, completely out of sync with the kind of clothing that you've seen so far. He looks like an English peasant almost, or a monk maybe, but he has a bit of a suspicious face as he looks about him, and he's carrying a couple of books and some scrolls in his hands, and he looks around and he sees Marie, and he's like, ugh. And he comes over, and then he sees you and he stops, and he's like, am I interrupting?
No, come.
Hello, Marie. Arnaud said that you have found more bodies.
Yes. Do more.
This is getting to be a little scary, I'm not going to lie. I'm sorry, I don't believe we've met. My name is Rinaldo Trois Echelles. Pleased to meet you, madame.
Inez Alameda. Pleasure is mine.
Oh, pleasure is very much mine. Is it okay to talk in front of Madame Alameda?
Sure, fine, yes.
All right. I've listened to Arnaud's tale of what he found out in on the mountain. I am a little. Well, I wouldn't want to pronounce myself before I got to see it myself and to make sure. But if it is what I think it is something very, very terrible. I don't know how Santiago knew about it or what he didn't know about it, but he was right that there is something there. I would very much like to travel there, perhaps tonight, even if you're okay with it, and see it for my own self before I can truly pronounce myself on what it is. As far as our beast, I am convinced now, given all the details we've managed to bring together, that it is a rougarou, a shapeshifter, a man who changes into a wolf. Perhaps the lunar cycle would suggest this, and some of the wounds that I've been able to inspect would suggest large claws that would be consistent with the kind of creature that those things are. I am not aware of any of them in the area here, but the mountain is a very magical place. This entire city is built on this place of tremendous power, and it would not surprise me that a place like this would draw the likes of the rougarou here, same as it has drawn you here and others. There's so much energy and power in this mountain. It rivals anything that I've seen in the old world. And I truly fear, my chère Marie, that these are only the first of what may very well be a very, very long string of strange incidences, and even stranger creatures and folk being drawn to this place. What's the word? The people at the table accepted, of course, he says to you, Inez.
You called it a rougarou?
Yes, the tales from my country, France, are that the rougarou are these men that would travel from village to village and would seduce the women of the men in those villages and take them away with them. And of course, this was just folk tales that people told to explain why their wives ran away on them or things of that nature. There were these stories about how you could defeat a rougarou by throwing women's clothing at him and that would steal his powers, things of that nature. Folk tales, of course, old wives' tales. What we're dealing with here is something much more real than that. There are creatures such as those that I'm not excessively familiar with them myself, but I know enough to know that a place like this, natural power like this, would draw them. They call these places cairns, I do believe, places of power where they can gather and hold their sacred rites and such.
The name is similar, but what I know them as is simply Garou. Some other people call them lupines. I've also heard them be called werewolves. You are right, they are vicious creatures, deadly, powerful enough that even, and she'll glance at Marie, the likes of us would have trouble going against them.
Do you know how to get rid of them?
I don't myself. As far as I know, they are nearly unkillable. They heal wounds and such very quickly.
Storyteller?
Yes.
We have a little bit that Inez knows, and Laura knows about werewolves. I don't want to metagame. As far as going up against them, we know that they are incredibly powerful, opposed to vampires. What would Inez know about Silver?
I think Inez would know based on her experiences with the Shadow Lords that Silver is absolutely, like, they're not unlike vampires and stuff. You know, sun and whatnot doesn't affect them. But I think you would know that Silver, specifically for most of them, is very dangerous.
There was, I think they like to call themselves a pack, that I encountered in Portugal. They called themselves the Shadow Lords. And one thing about them, they got very touchy if anyone around them was wearing silver jewelry. And Inez will sort of adjust the collar of her shirt and show the silver crucifix around her neck.
How close is Marie to Inez? Are we across from each other, or?
I think across the table, yeah.
So
Ronaldo caught between you two.
So Marie, being a very hands-on type person, is going to lunge and grab the necklace to look at it.
And Inez will grab the wrist. Senora, we have only just met.
I need to find more of these.
Silver, yes. Blades, if you can get it.
Renado.
Oui, Marie.
How much of these can we find?
How much? Silver? Or
she
weapons?
holds the cross up. Yeah.
Well, silver itself may not be too difficult, but I don't know of many weapons that are forged with that particular metal. I would find that it would make a poor weapon for most uses. There is a well-known silversmith who has established himself on an island just south of here on the river, Perhaps we might reach out to him tomorrow and see if there's anything that he might procure us.
Yes.
There are various stories and rumors also of, well, you know, the church has been here long before anybody else has, and there are always rumors of what sometimes is hidden in their little coffers, but I wouldn't expect to find too many weapons made of silver, but certainly we could find something. My suggestion would be to reach out to Philippe the silversmith on the Seven Sisters Island, just south of here, perhaps tomorrow during the day, and see what he can offer us.
Okay. As second daughter of businesses, I think we need to round up as many of us as possible and alert everybody of these, what did you call them? Ragu? Garu? Lupine? Arugaguru.
Ruga, yes, Ruga is the French term, but our friend here seems to be very well traveled and very wise and seems to know a lot about these things.
Garu.
Garu, werewolves, lupines, take your pick.
Are you, excuse my forthrightedness, Madame Ines, but are you someone who is knowledgeable or well-versed in matters more, and he looks around a little bit, occult?
Certainly.
I would very much like to see this place that Santiago spoke of on the mountain. If you wouldn't mind, Miss Marie, perhaps Miss Ines would accompany us.
So he has been here.
Oh yes, very much so, Santiago. What an affable fellow. And he looks at you and he's like, ooh.
There is a gleam in Inez's eyes.
We will go to the site. We will look at it. I need your help, Inez. You help me with... Yes, you help me with the Garu. I will tell you where Santiago went.
I could tell you also a little bit about what we spoke of if you want.
Very well. I believe it would be rude of me to demand information without offering something in return. And Inez will hold her hand out to shake.
Marie shakes her hand.
By this point, your companion has sort of accepted that things are okay and has lain down, and his head is like resting on your feet below the table, and you can hear what you assume is canine snoring coming from him. Rinaldo says, I have brought everything I need. We can head right now if you want. I don't have any silver weapons, but I would assume that if anything should happen, the two of you would be able to protect me. I'm but a simple man.
Yes, as always, you know that I will take you out of danger if anything happens.
Madame Marie, you are always so thoughtful, and the people of the city do indeed owe you a very great debt.
It is nothing. This is your family. We thrive together, so we must take care of each other. But before we go, and Marie puts her hand under the table to kind of wake up Au a little bit.
Wakes up right away and is like kind of up and panting, tail wagging.
Marie says this in English, but they can communicate pretty well. So, Aun, I want you to meet somebody.
Huh?
Mm-hmm. Take a good sniff. Recognize her, just in case something happens.
Comes over to you, Ines, kind of slowly and a little hesitantly. You can tell that he's fighting really deep instincts to growl or he's fighting his fight or flight instinct, basically. But he
Yes,
approaches
well.
and will extend his face a little bit to get some scritching.
She'll hesitate a little, mostly because as Lasombra, animals don't really like her at all.
You can see that it's fighting really hard. You get the sense, Marie, that what he's saying is, look, because you asked me, I'm going to be nice, but dude, I don't like this person.
I'm used to it.
That's a big tell for Marie. Has Marie ever come across... I don't think she's ever come across Lasombra too much except for Santiago, right?
Yeah, and your dog had an even worse reaction to Santiago, like would not go anywhere near him, even whatever you kind of ordered him to do or asked him to do. He was just like, nope.
Nah.
Cool. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
But
Okay.
Inez will hold out her hand like you're supposed to do with nervous dogs. Palm flat, open hand.
And he places the underside of his jaw in your hand for a moment and looks at you. Then slowly withdraws it. And pads on back over to Marie.
Well, that was much better than the mother folk.
Yes, indeed. I've seen this dog go quite mad and quite wild on certain people they didn't like. And usually his senses are pretty good. He usually knows that someone is a problem before we know that they're a problem. So
Animals do not like me as a whole. It has been that way for some time.
What did you do?
I became what I am. It seems to be the case with most of my, how do they say, clan.
Clan?
Those who dwell in shadow. Santiago is much the same.
Monsieur Santiago, would you, once all of this is over, would you be willing to answer a few questions for me? I'm deeply curious about your kind in general, but especially after having met Mr. Santiago and seeing what he can do with shadows, I've become very, very curious about your people, so to speak. And, well, I would be very grateful if you allowed me to ask you a few simple questions, just to assuage a little bit of my curiosity.
As kind of looks up at him and squints a little. Most want nothing to do with the shadows. You are intrigued by them. Why?
I think that it is... The world is built entirely of binary structures, things that exist in opposition to each other but cannot exist one without the other. Life and death, good and evil, light, darkness. It is imperative, I feel, to get to know the shadows, that we might better appreciate the light. Or, without knowing the other side of the coin, so to speak, it is impossible to fully know this side. And so, while I would not consider myself necessarily someone who is apt to stand in the light all the time, I feel that getting a better understanding of the things that we fear can often help us overcome these fears and help us, in French we say apprivoiser, become more comfortable with those things that unnerve us.
Very well. Should we survive this little ordeal, I would be happy to answer your questions, Senor.
Very well. That's very exciting. Very exciting indeed. And of course, I'll probably have a few questions about the Rougarou also, since you seem to know so much. And I assume you've traveled a lot. Did I hear you mention that you're from Constantinople? I would have loved to have seen that city in its prime. It must have been something.
All right, Ronaldo. Vamos.
Yes. Oui, Madame Marie. And he reaches over and he takes Marie's drink and he slams it back and he puts it down.
You know what? Inez is gonna push her wine over to him as well.
Oh,
Waste not, want
merci
not.
beaucoup. He slams that also. Antoine, the wine is disgusting as always. But very welcome. It's for the English. I know. Better keep it for them. A Frenchman would not drink such swill. You just did. Shut up, Antoine. I'll turn you into a frog. And he gets up and picks up his bag and he heads up to the door. Shall we?
Yes.
I follow
Marie
your
walks
lead.
out. Yep, Marie's straight beeline out, right on her tail. I know, just for you, she doesn't like smell like the woods. She smells like almost like kind of like a charred fire mixed with like dirt. Like it's actually kind of like a sweet smell.
Well, and since Marie got such a good whiff, Inez smells like it's similar. It's dirt, but it's grave dirt.
That's great.
Ah!
Yeah, I just messed up everything because
Stop pressing buttons, please.
I have my laptop open for the stream and for Discord, and I was typing away at that, not looking up. And I realized it wasn't typing in there, and it's because I wasn't typing on my laptop. I was, in fact, typing on my keyboard.
Whoopsie. And actually, Storyteller, if you will allow, I know we mentioned we need weapons. One of the interesting things that I read about the Lasombra, especially in the Dark Ages and in between Dark Ages and Modern Knights, is that some of them actually referred to themselves as corsairs. Mm-hmm. They spend their time on the sea, essentially living as pirates. And I like to think that is sort of the route that Inez has taken in her travels.
Are you asking me if you have a cutlass?
Yeah. Cutlass, rapier.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So as she stands and follows, she adjusts the belt at her hips, and Marie would see this beautiful basket hilt cutlass on her hip.
Excellent. Is Marie carrying any weapon?
Nope. Exactly.
Marie is a weapon.
She doesn't need them.
All right.
She very much does that on purpose, though. She having the reputation of who she is, being weaponless, makes her more approachable to folks.
And so, the three of you, plus your companion, head up into the mountain back where you came from originally. I think, Inez, as you climb up into the mountain, you will come to appreciate what Ronaldo was saying earlier. You do feel that there is a lot of power here. There is something ancient and primal that exists in this mountain that they call the Holy Mountain, Mount Royal. It's difficult to put the finger on what kind of power is it, but you certainly feel it there, and you can understand why there's this. The island itself is quite deep along the river into Canada, or as it was known as Canada back then, but into the New World, and you can understand why, aside from tactical reasons for defense, they chose to stop here rather than almost anywhere else they could have stopped. That when they saw this mountain, when they felt it, you know that especially the priests and the people of that sort would have been drawn to it. There's definitely something here, and it reminds you a lot of Constantinople, which is also built around series of hills, or 7 hills, right, in Constantinople. And as you are traveling up into the mountain and talking a little bit with Ronaldo, and he's asking you questions about Constantinople and stuff, he'll mention that very much like that city, he has found that there are 7 specific points of power in Montreal around the mountain. And he starts talking about that, about how like there's this kind of weird connection to the city that you came from, and that the fact that you're here and I've come from Constantinople is a very interesting coincidence, and that there are the 7 hills of Constantinople and the 7 points of power here and all that. And he seems very taken by the symmetry of it and by the idea of it, and he himself will talk a little bit about how he has started teaching others here about this, and how he has chosen 7 disciples because of the 7 places of power that are here. And he seems very much taken by, you know, the numerology, the number, the symbolism of all of that. And he seems very, very kind of keen on that. And I think as he talks a little bit more to you, you'll come to understand that he has a very deep attachment to this place. And as much as Marie seems to have an attachment and kind of be the protector of this place, you kind of almost feel like he's being absorbed by this place in some ways. Like he's very much kind of melding into this place, and it's becoming very much, he's becoming part of it, and it's becoming part of him. And it's very strange because it's a very similar thing that happens to Lasombra with the Abyss, where the more you further your study of Abyss mysticism and your study of Oblivion, the more you find where you begin and end, and where the Abyss begins and ends starts to meld a lot more. And there's really like that kind of, again, symmetry there to how you become one with the power that you're, the source of power rather, that you are drawing from. So I think that probably interests you to a certain degree, and you find that kind of again, that symmetry kind of lining up between the two. But as the 3 of you approach, climb up that hill, I will ask both of you to go ahead and make me a mental plus occult roll. So again, roll 1d10 plus a hunger dice. The hunger die only matters if it comes up 1 or 10. Roll your d10, add your mental to it, and if you have occult, add +1 to it.
Three successes.
12.
Excellent. As you approach the southwestern flank of the mountain, it takes maybe 45 minutes to walk up there. The first thing you notice is that the vegetation, the flora, the trees, the plants, etc. in the area seem to have started withering, started to decay. You notice that there are no sounds, there are no animals around. You don't hear owls hooting, you don't see birds, you don't hear anything moving in the underbrush. And a little bit further in, you start kind of really feeling ill at ease. You start sensing that there is something off here. And I mean off in the sense of something alien and profoundly disturbing and unnatural that should not be here. I think that Ines might have encountered in her travels maybe these kinds of feelings before in certain places or when encountering certain magics and whatnot, but nothing to this level. And both of you being kindred and being who you are, and you know all that entails, find yourselves feeling very kind of uncomfortable and sort of uncomfortable around this. Not uncomfortable, but kind of repulsed, literally, by this place. Like, you don't want to be here. Like, it's just wrong. You have before you a bit of a path that continues towards the slope. You know, Marie, that you're getting near the place that Santiago talked about that Arnaud mentioned also. I would like to know what you do at this point. How do you approach? What you choose to do? You are in the forest. You're on the slope of a mountain. It is quite dark. I assume both of you can see in the dark, so you're fine. You're both elves. You both have night vision. I'm assuming both of you have disciplines that allow you to see in the dark. How do you want to do? How do you want to approach? You do have, both of you also, for the record, thanks, Varl, both of you have 4 night moves in your pocket. Thank you, everyone. That's like much generosity. Appreciate you. Thank you, Madame Eva, for that. Madame Eva has given you a hail, Cynthia, which translates into a night move. So, Madame Eva is also a player in our games. Madame Eva plays
Yay!
A ton of our games and is absolutely wonderful and fabulous. Very fabulous.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
What do you do?
Well, definitely have Eyes of the Beast activated right now. So her eyes are definitely that red flare that you see in them. She's approaching just very cautiously right now, but hasn't transformed, doesn't have anything out, just watching.
Almost the exact opposite. Ynes has Oblivion Sight. So the deep brown of her eyes, the pupils almost seem to blow and move past the irises and take up most of the sclera and almost absorb the darkness, allowing her to see into it.
Are you attempting to move quietly, or are you brazenly walking forward? What are you doing?
This is your territory, Senora.
And she walks very, very stealthily.
So in order to move stealthily, both of you, if you would make me a physical plus combat roll. So roll 1 die, whatever that comes up with, add your physical stat to it, and then if you have combat, add plus. And if your hunger die returns a 1 or a 10, let me know so that I can laugh manually. Hey, thank you so much. Oh, the Raid Classic, Sam. NY GM, New York GM. There we go. I was like, you know, I could see the NYG, and I was like, what's that going to say? Thank you very much, Classic Sam. We are playing Vampire the Masquerade. This is a show that contains mature subject matter, so please do take that into account before deciding if you want to hang out with us. But if you do, we welcome you very much. We're having some vampiric fun over here tonight. Thank you so much for dropping by. I appreciate you.
Storyteller, I do need a little bit of help on the roll. I know you just explained it, but so I rolled 1d10
right.
and my hunger, got 2 successes were there.
No, so you don't count them separately. So did your hunger dice return a 10 or a 1?
Oh, I'm using a regular VtM, so it's just a regular success.
Okay, so yeah.
I could roll a d10 if you want, though.
Yeah, you would need a regular d10. It's okay to roll the hunger die
9.
as 9. Okay, so roll the regular d10 plus, and you can roll your vampire dice for the hunger dice. That's fine. So you would take the 9 that you just rolled. You will add your physical attribute to it.
16.
And then plus 1 if you have the combat skill.
17.
All right, so you're fine. And what did you get, Laura?
10.
You're less fine. So, do you want to spend a? You can spend a Laura if you want. You can spend a 9 move, and it will give you a plus 2.
We're gonna do that.
All right, you don't.
We're gonna do that. We're gonna make that
plus 2.
We're gonna make that a 12.
Okay, that's good. 12 is what you were looking for. That's why I suggested it. Marie, these people from the big cities, they don't know how to move in the forest. This one's doing okay, but could be better. You manage to sort of creep around, and you come up to it, and what you see as you come over, you kind of crest the little hill that's in front of you, is you see that there's a bit of a valley that dips down behind it. You can see that the trees have literally, in the area near this thing, melted. It's like they've turned into like goo and just kind of melted. They look like melted black candles, basically. Like they've just sort of really kind of just withered and died down. And you can see at the bottom of it, about a meter-ish long, and for Americans, about 3 feet long by about 3 feet wide, there is what at first looks like this white pustule that is embedded in the earth. And as you get closer and see it, you can see that it's pulsing and moving, and you can see that there is, for lack of a better word, stuff inside of it. Grayish, pinkish, reddish stuff that just moves around in this thing as it kind of pulsates. As you come over and see this, Ronaldo goes, oh. Unfortunately, I think I was right. I need to get a little closer. And he starts approaching. And I would like both of you, as this happens, to go ahead and make me insight rolls. You're going to roll a d10. You're going to add your mental, and you're going to add +1 if you have insight. And if your hunger die returns a 1 or a 10, let me know.
All right. Hunger die. Okay. 13.
12.
Okay. And yes, Laura, this is exactly that thing you found in the pyramid. Things have a way of coming back, but this is it. And the pyramid in the modern game is built over this site. You approach it, and as you do, Ines, out of the corner of your eye, you notice that the escarpment, as you come around, hides a bit of a kind of an entrance, like maybe like a small cave or something like that. And you can see that something's in there. There was kind of a fire or light that was hidden, and it's being extinguished, but you can see shadows have kind of moved and have extinguished this light that's in this whatever little kind of cave entrance that's a little bit off to the side. Ronaldo has not seen this at all. He's kind of beelining it down towards this pulsating pustule.
It's the word pustule that gets me every time. Just
Words matter.
Gross. Hate it. Thanks. So Inez kind of flicks her eyes over to that little bit of light that has just snuffed out, realizes that Ronaldo's dumbass is not stopping, and jumps behind him to sort of like grab him by the collar.
But I have to get closer.
There's someone else here.
You can see he kind of backs up and kind of gets in behind you.
Marie, she'll nod her head to the cave. Someone in there.
Marie would like to activate feral weapons.
As you do, you hear the distinctive click and then slight pause, followed by the boom of a musket being fired, and you see a flash of light aimed at you as someone inside the cave opens up fire and rolls very poorly. You feel and hear something whiz by your heads in the darkness. You hear sound, people scrambling and whatnot. Someone is like, couple of voices, 2, 3 maybe, male, kind of arguing with each other. And you can hear the sounds of more weapons being cocked and readied. What do you do?
Marie immediately screams out, "Ow!" But it also sounds like a howl as she's gonna like drop down into shape change, and she's gonna start galloping towards these guys.
Shape change into a wolf?
Yes, a very, very beautiful white wolf.
And for a second there, as you see this, Ines, you wonder, is perhaps in some way, shape, or form the person who's doing all these killings someone who's transforming into a wolf? Suspicious at best. You lunge forward with Ao at your side. And yes, what do you do as these two kind of go rushing towards this entrance of the cave, and you hear Ronaldo kind of backing up behind you and mumbling things.
Oh, wait, if I may, Aoun's instructions was to take Ronaldo away from the situation.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so he's pulling on...
That was her call to him.
Okay, he's pulling the hem of Ronaldo's robe and kind of trying to pull him away, and Ronaldo's like kind of fixated on everything that's going on, but yeah, he's kind of pulling back.
Yeah. I think part of that is Inez kind of gives Ronaldo a little bit of a push towards Aoun. And then I would like to activate Prowess and charge in after the wolf.
As you charge into the cavern, what you find is a very narrow entrance onto a fissure, but then it kind of opens up. And as you step inside, Marie, you would immediately recognize that this is basically kind of a smuggler's den. You can see a few pelts here and there and some other supplies, things like that, bottles of liquor and whatnot. So it's clear, that there are several of these around the mountain for people who steal pelts and things of that nature. They'll ambush hunters as they're coming back and steal their pelts and things of that nature. The thing that... The thing that draws the most of your attention, though, as both of you get into this cave, one is the smell. There is this intense smell of rot that's emanating from this cave. And it's not coming from them being unkempt or smelly or anything like that, but there are rotting carcasses of various animals played out inside this place. You can see that some of the bloods and the offal have been used to draw strange symbols on the walls. There are all sorts of strange quasi-occult sort of markings, things you don't really recognize, but all of it has that same kind of feeling of wrongness and strangeness that you felt when approaching the pustule earlier. Thank you, Kayla, for the raid. We really appreciate you. Thank you very much. Time Lord's wife coming in hot with the raid. Thank you. We appreciate you, Kayla. We're playing Vampire the Masquerade. It's a game with mature themes and the word pustule in it. So do decide for yourself if you wish to hang out or, like Laura, regret every decision that you've ever made by joining this thing. So you see that. The other thing that you notice is that the three men that are in here, and through your senses as kindred, you know that they are human, but you can also see that something has happened to them. They have begun to change. You can see that one of them has distended jaws, almost kind of like as if it was the jaws of a wolf or something like that. Another one has these scales on their hands. One of them has these kind of strange greenish eyes and large tufts of fur that are kind of sprouting around them. You can see they have begun to kind of change and transform and take on bits and pieces of the animals around them. This altogether feels wrong. However, as you enter this cave, the two of you are kindred. Both of you are old. Both of you are quite powerful. They won't be able to offer up too much of a defense against you. They have muskets that they can't reload fast enough. They have hatchets and things like that. But I don't think we need to get into too much of a dice rolling situation here. What I would like is for each of you perhaps to describe what your character is like in a moment like this, as you are clearly superior to these humans as you are kind of feeling this whole alienness and this whole unsettling presence in this cave. What does your character do, and what does it look like as your characters literally decimate these 3 smugglers that have just lodged way too close to this thing?
Well, I think Marie out in front there, I would say first off, noting the carcasses of animals does not sit well with Marie. So as much as she values human life, she values animals more. And so that kind of like really kind of ticked her off. So I think she pounces on what you said, one that was starting to look kind of like wolf-like. Yeah, she's gonna pounce on him and like almost like pull him into like a really tight grip to almost like make him pass out, and then like she's gonna like go in for the neck and pull.
I love gangrels in combat. Gangrels are my favorite.
Big puppy dog.
And once again, almost the complete opposite. It's strange because in Constantinople, Ynes was essentially a noblewoman. She was pampered, she was kept, she was cared for. She had no reason to get her hands dirty, but that has changed in the past couple of centuries. So she draws this basket-hilted cutlass from her hip, and it is just steel and fangs, and it's like watching Edward Teach board a ship in the Caribbean, just tearing through anyone who gets in her way.
As the 2 of you proceed to absolutely destroy these 3, are you careful, or do you just kind of go in and I'm talking specifically about drinking their blood? Do you bite them? Do you drink?
Ew, no.
Okay.
You know.
Good call. As you stand there, the 2 of you in the middle of this cave, dripping in the gore of the defeated men, you realize that they were not transformed or mutated at all. They had been, for lack of a better word, transforming themselves by attaching animal parts to their bodies, by sewing them in their flesh, by pinning them to their bodies with pieces of bone, things of that nature. They were clearly mad. There was a madness in their eyes. There was something that had driven them to this bestial, inhuman state. As you...
They call us monsters.
Marie doesn't necessarily speak because, well, she's still a big puppy, but she's clearly disdained by this, and like I think there's probably, if I could get a little graphic for a second, probably a spinal column still cut around, and she like steps on it and like crunches it, like as she is pissed off about this.
As you take this in, you hear outside Ronaldo has kind of gone to work, but what do you do? Seeing what you see and kind of taking in what you've taken in here with these, the men are dead now, cut to pieces and destroyed at your feet. What do you do in this moment?
Oh, I'm looting the bodies.
Maria's pacing Inez and kind of like keeping an eye out, and at a certain moment she's gonna watch Inez loot, which she's gonna have some words later about this, but she's gonna like just nuzzle her to like, we gotta go.
Okay. And just for that, it's not that she's looking for coin to take. I'm looking for notebooks. I'm looking for papers. I'm looking for anything to correlate the weird symbology that they've drawn all over the walls in like gore.
Go ahead, and you can do this also if you want, Marie, but definitely Naz, go ahead and make me an insight. So you're going to make a mental plus insight roll. Remember to tell me if your hunger die returns a 1 or a 10.
14.
Boop, boop, boop. 9.
Okay. In your wolf form, Marie, it's difficult to kind of take in, and you're very upset by all this and sort of what you're seeing. So you're mostly kind of trying to push Inez out of here. Inez, you will find that the men seem to have been here for a few days and nights, at least maybe close to a week. You can tell that there's nothing else that ties them to this symbology. You can tell that they've drawn these same symbols on their bodies with blades and whatnot. But there's nothing. There's no papers. There's no books. There's nothing that indicates that before they came into this cave, these men knew anything about any of this. You can tell that there were 2 other men and that they've died at some point, and their remains are kind of hidden away amongst the remains of the various animals that are in here. And aside from the body modifications that they've done to themselves, there is nothing else to indicate that these men knew what they were doing or that they were aware. It feels as if, to you, like, slowly, over time as they hid in here, they were taken over by some kind of madness, and it drove them to this at length. And that, even with your knowledge of occult and things that you've seen, none of the symbols mean anything to you. None of it appears to be real. It's almost kind of like...
It's just gobbledygook.
Yeah, basically.
Inez actually, she makes that noise. She like sucks her teeth in disappointment. But as she's getting like headbutted by the giant white wolf, she's like, all right. Gets up, grabs her sword.
You wipe it off on a piece of fur that is lying there in the cave, and you leave behind this abattoir of disgusting and vile foulness. Move on down towards where Ronaldo is. Has a very chiding look on his face as he's looking at Ronaldo like, dude, you know better than this. But Ronaldo is right in there, and he's scoping out this thing. He's taking a look at it. He's taking little samples. He's chanting and muttering around it. And eventually, as you approach, he looks up, sits down. Well, it appears like you two have taken care of the matter at hand. Do any of them
Something
live?
like that? No. They're likely better for it.
Likely, but more the pity for us. It would have been good to ask them a few questions, but...
I don't think we would have gotten any straight answers out of them, querido.
As far as I can ascertain, this thing is what is called a call. It is a... Well, for lack of a better word, it is a blister that forms itself in certain places of power, but behind it, behind this strange flesh that is covered in, it is, for all intents and purposes, a portal to the very depths of hell. There's dark evil power that resides in here, possibly the soul of a evil mage, Nefandus maybe. There's very little we can do about it right now. It doesn't appear to be active, even though the area around is suffering. We may need Marie to make sure no one comes to this place, at least until I've studied it a little bit further. But make no mistake, this is very bad, and it is in fact what Santiago warned us about.
And why would Santiago be so interested in a place like this?
He was here looking for something, a relic he said he lost some while back. Something he called a true cross.
He lost it?
He mentioned being betrayed by someone and somebody else taking it from him, yeah. I assume you know of this.
Oh, how does it feel, you son of a bitch?
It was quite rough.
Good.
In any case, he asked to see the holy sites and unholy sites around the area, wanting to see if anyone had been here with it. And I assume this is one of the places he visited because before he departed, he left me a note that said that he had found what he thought was a call up here and that we should investigate it. That's what I was coming to tell Marie about. Is this you then? He said an ill wind was blowing and he needed to depart the city. Was that you? Are you his ill wind?
Is that what he calls me now?
He said it with a bit of a twinkle in his eye, though. I don't think he dislikes you as much as you dislike him.
No, I think he's decided this is a little game now. But fine. I'm more than willing to continue to play.
Well, I for one do not know where he went. Perhaps Marie does, and perhaps she will tell you in time, but he did not inform me of where he was going, only that he had lost this cross and that he was looking for the person who had found it. I've heard of something called the True Cross. Is it true? Did he have the actual True Cross?
Yes.
Well, it's too bad we don't have it. That artifact is said to be able to bring the light of God anywhere, to cure any illness and any disease and any infection of the body, mind, or heart. Could be useful right now.
Yes. Well, it was worth an awful lot when we found it. It cost an awful lot to find it.
Well, for what it's worth, yes, I hope you find it. And I hope that it brings you a measure of peace when you do. But for now, we should return to the city. And as he says that, you start hearing bells ringing. And Marie, you know immediately that these are alarm bells that are ringing from the city. That something has occurred as the bells echo throughout the mountain across the night. There's only maybe 2 hours left before sunup. It's going to take you about 40 minutes if you walk back slow to the village. Maybe you can cut that in half if you're hurrying. But you do hear these alarm bells, and Ronaldo looks up and goes, I'll only hold you back. If you need to go, go. I'll make my way back.
Marie paws at Inez and kind of like does a, with her snoot, and like starts kind of pawing slowly, like to walk away, like, but as soon as Inez catches up, like Marie's gonna start taking off.
Yeah. And you know what? I think what Inez is going to do is shadow step her way through there.
Excellent. It takes you maybe 25-30 minutes to get back to the town. As you do, once you press that final hill, you can see the smoke and the fire that is spreading throughout one of the sections of the port. The fire bells are ringing. You can see men that have already started hauling water in from the river and are trying to put this out. You rush back towards the city. As you get towards closer to the center of the city, you start hearing, encountering people who tell you that the beast was spotted and that someone tried to kill it. And that's how a fire was started. Unfortunately, it has spread rather quickly, as you can see. But once you start getting close to it, and you of course don't want to get too close to it being kindred, you look to one side of the port and you can see that orange red ember glow of the fire. It appears that it's starting to get contained, but you know that fire can be extremely dangerous in a place like this and in this day and age. there's not much you can do. You can't get close to it. You're already feeling the raw stress start to kind of grip your hearts as you look at these flames. And over yonder, when you look at the other corner of your eye, you can see the orange glow of the sun starting to come up on the horizon. You're going to have to find a place to lair very, very soon. You're not going to have a lot of time before the sun comes up.
Mierda.
Question for you, Storyteller.
Yep.
Utilizing a little bit of my animalism, I have a feral whisper, and seeing that I'm an animal currently, could I use that in reverse to speak to Inez?
I have no problems with you communicating with Inez, yes.
Great. So you hear in a very, like, rushed, gruff voice.
You're not going to be able to, like, give a very eloquent
of course.
monologue here, but yeah, you can make yourself understood.
Super quick. Do I need to roll for that one? I'm not sure if that rouses blood or not. I can't remember. Oh, it is a rouse.
We love rouse checks. Especially when players fail rouse checks.
I am okay. I have survived. I have survived. I swear. So very quick, you hear in a gruff voice, church now.
I follow your lead.
And she just starts galloping.
You start heading east throughout the city. There is a church that is being built there. It looks like it's going to be something massive and quite capable of rivaling some of the churches you've seen in Europe. But for now, it is empty. Sections of it are not finished, but there are a couple of the two front towers that have roofs and are kind of closed in, and you can definitely tell that it will be a probably a decent place to find a bit of rest. Neither of you have any sort of problems with walking into holy places? Laura says no as she bursts into flames. As you approach the church trying to find a way to slip inside, you feel something. You feel eyes on you. You feel something tracking you, hunting you. And as you pause, stop, and look around, you look up, and there, on the very roof of the church that you were heading towards, the unfinished roof of it, of course, you see what at first appears to be just this strange, shambling mount of fur. But it slowly unfurls and stands up. And as you look up, you see this strange creature, part man, part beast of some sort. It looks down at you very clearly, at the two of you. And then it lets out this soul-rending roar that echoes all around you. And it's a roar of defiance. It has recognized you and knows what you are. You hesitate. The sun's coming up. This thing is right there. This thing you've been hunting. But before you can do anything, it turns and leaps off the other side of the church. And as you're standing there, looking at each other, wondering what you should do, you have 15 minutes, maybe 20 max, before the sun crests that horizon and comes up. But the beast is right there, around the corner from this church. And as you look at each other, wondering what you should do, you hear the blood-curdling scream start to come from the other side of the church. as the men and women who were there become the new praise of the beast of Mount Royal as it drops in upon them, and the scent of blood travels through the air all the way to you. And on that note, we will end this first session of 1755 with our intrepid heroes, anti-heroes. And a tough decision to make. That sun's coming up, but that beast is right there and it's killing people.